Hello. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. So hi. I'm Resa. I go with any pronouns. I've been cosplaying and attending conventions since 2008, and I started going to YaoiCon in 2011 and ended up staffing its final 3 years. I have experience with styling and modifying cosplays, crafting accessories and props, often on a very tight budget and many times for free. Do you want to say a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Anya, my pronouns are she, her, and I have been cosplaying on and off since about 2004, but more solidly since 2017 or so, with Yuri Plazetsky from Yuri on Ice. I do a mix of making my own costumes, buying them, piecing things together, so it's really dependent on the cosplay. Excuse me. Yes. So that's me.
So we'll just quickly skim through this since we're a bit short on time. If we could get, I guess, like a 5-minute warning before the end. Yeah, so there's a lot of misconceptions that people think cosplaying can be super expensive, but worry not, that is not the case. There are ways to make cosplay super cheap, and I wish I could go more into this, but these slides also will be available on the website in our the extra credit thread that is linked. So, yeah. And to quickly run through what we'll cover in this panel is we're starting out with closet cosplays, then going into thrifting and secondhand, then tips on how to reuse your cosplay pieces, how to accessorize, how to make cheap stuff look expensive, and how to craft and modify, and also how to bind on a budget. So, yeah. So, Anya, do you want to talk about closet cosplays?
Yeah, so let me just skim through this really quickly. So a lot of times for me personally, what I do for closet cosplays, I literally will suit my my style to characters at this point, and I'm constantly wearing my my cosplay items as regular clothing. But typically anything that you already own that you can kind of modify to suit a character. You can, like for example, a basic t-shirt or a jacket or something that can be reused multiple times throughout different outfits. Yeah, exactly. You're piecing things together to create a cohesive thing. And generally what I do for closet cosplays is you find a key element, like a color scheme or something like that, that is very well known for the character, and then you just base it off of that, and then you're able to just create a costume that is extremely recognizable. I did this with Vexalia from Critical Role the first time I cosplayed her. I literally just pulled things out of my closet that were blue and brown that kind of worked for her, pulled things from other costumes that I already had, and created a look that people looked at me and said, "Oh, you're cosplaying as Vexalia." Like, they immediately knew.
Perfect. All right, and then Anya, do you want to talk about thrifting?
Yeah, so for example, with thrifting, I'm seeing the replacing buttons thing. So with, for example, my my Charlie Morningstar cosplay that I'm working on, I went to the thrift store and I got like a giant container of buttons. And I went through it until I found buttons that would work really well for her to replace the ones that were just very, very basic that the base dress came with. And constantly just always look at thrift stores, try to find things that might work in the future, things that you're like, oh, this is a key thing that could work for XYZ cosplays. Like, I'm always looking for things that, especially for things like shoes and such, that can be reused for multiple costumes. Especially because as much as the shoes tend to pull a costume together, they are very rarely get photographed. and people usually don't remember what shoes you're wearing. They're not necessary. You don't have to worry as much about them. And yeah, I agree. Great for casual clothes, suits, school uniforms. You can always find these kinds of things at thrift stores and things of that nature.
Okay.
Oh, and then I see that martial arts and military surplus. Yeah, especially for uniforms and such.
Yep. And then would you like to talk about some secondhand places to get cosplay supplies and materials? Or clothes?
Actually, so I don't know these two websites, Cos Cove and Lumica Cosplay. I don't know them myself. But I've gotten things off of eBay. Here I live in Germany, and eBay Kleinanzeigen, which is like what's that in English? Classifieds. eBay Classifieds is like Craigslist in the States. So you're easily able to find things. There's a lot of cosplays on there too. Mercari, ThredUp, especially Facebook Marketplace. Actually, my cherry blossom outfit that I was wearing in my panel, that I got from a fellow cherry cosplayer, and they just asked, they were asking, hey, does anyone want this? I'll even pay shipping. And they just shipped it to me for free. There are some pieces that I still need to add to it, which is why it's good I was, waist up. But besides that, it's very easy to find trade. You can look on, there are a whole bunch of Instagram accounts that are also for destashing cosplays, moving them on to other people, that kind of thing. Yeah, and I agree. Trading with friends, swap meets, things like that. I'll also often borrow a wig or a cosplay from a fellow cosplayer. Like, we'll just go out and do a shoot and we'll swap costumes so that we have more photos of us in different characters, but we aren't spending any extra money.
Awesome. So, Anya, do you want to talk about tailoring? Or buying pre-made cosplays and tailoring?
Yeah, that is literally what I'm doing with Charlie Morningstar. So here I'm out of cosplay, but I can very quickly turn on my camera. I still have pink eyebrows, but that's fine. Let me see. So you can see I have it pinned. So I am going to be taking this in because it's absolutely the wrong size for me. But you just go along the seams when you can, and definitely try it on first and kind of get the vibe for where it's going to fit on you. And you can always add padding to shoulders. You can add, like, I have a whole crinoline that I'm adding to this that I'm going to be sewing into it. And Westy says, if there are any Danish people here, I'm going to not attempt to pronounce that, would also be a good place to look for things to use. But yeah, so I'm always modifying things like this. I made out of various materials. These are like extras from my Howl's Moving Castle costume, and then I'm going to be sewing it onto this because that looks so much cooler. Yeah, sometimes it's cheaper to buy a base, and even if it's not like the base or like original, like accurate dress or whatever the costume is, like getting a red dress for Charlie and then modifying it, for example, is perfectly valid as well. Anyway, I'm gonna go off camera again.
All right. And then Anya, do you want to talk about a couple of accessories, like budget accessories?
Let me just look through this thing really quickly. Yeah, the accessories and the props are often what really sell a costume. So doing very, very simple things like the example of the Tupperware armor covered with duct tape. All you have to do there is be very careful when you're cutting, but you can cut up other materials and create them. Like, I have a horn that I have for a part dragon costume, and that horn is fully made out of words. I can do words. Cardboard. Like, I just cut up cardboard boxes, and then I also have foam that I use to create the pieces for the shaping of it, and you combine all of those things, and you can make something really, really easily and really, really cheap. Some other things that are included, I'm just going to read through these really quickly. We have party beads and Christmas garlands for jewelry. All you have to do is paint them very easily. You need to coat them with a sealant, but very easy to do. If you are doing something with spray paint, make sure that you're outside in a well-ventilated area. Please do not spray in an enclosed space, and use proper PPE. Yeah, sports and safety equipment you can use for armor. You can use it as a base and then build off of it. Yeah, using anything like coat hangers, chopsticks, sturdy sticks to be like the base of things and build off of them is very easy to do. And then with the headbands and glued fabric, you do not need to know how to sew to cosplay. You can hot glue everything. Or paper mache it. Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Are you on your stuff yet?
Yeah.
Yep. Stitches.
Yes. Yes. So next up, reusing clothes. These are some good staple items to have: a white blouse, a black pair of pants or shorts, a pleated skirt, socks, white or black gloves. A black jacket is useful, and wigs can always be reused. So let's look at some examples. I have a white blouse that I've used for Eden from New Carnival, Clear from Dramatical Murder, Grell from Black Butler, underneath a suit for several characters that wear suits, my steampunk and pirate versions of Vaporeon and Yuri from Doki Doki Literature Club, which is why there's still bloodstains on it. I have a former job interview suit that I used for Lulu Bell from The Grey Man, Tabari from Nabari no O, and Chrome Dokuro 10 years later from Reborn. Ursula and Balgam Mumikyu share the same black dress and hoop skirts, and I'm currently in the process of making the same light-up tentacles for both of them, and tentacles are always a fun time. And when it comes to wigs, my favorite fun fact is that the very first wig I ever got for free as a gift has been used for all of my short brown-haired characters, most recently being Eden and also Hanji from Attack on Titan. Once upon a time, it was also sprayed blue for Mukuro. And if you want to take this to the next level, you can consider making fully interchangeable cosplays, although that is beyond the scope of this panel, and I would love to talk about interchangeable cosplays in the future. All right. Would you like to, do we have time to talk about wigs?
Yeah. So for me personally, I have drawers of wigs, but I absolutely reuse them for multiple things. So if you have base color, base shape wigs that you can then modify, you can use them for multiple costumes. Hilariously, I have one fluffy red wig that is meant for Artagan, who is like an elf with extremely long ears, super fluffy red hair. And if I ever want to cosplay Merida, I have the wig for it. And if you wanted to say anything too, you could.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And then do you also want to talk about where to get cheap tools and supplies?
Oh, yeah, I honestly got a lot of mine at thrift stores, personally, but yeah, depending on the country that you're in, Dollar Store, Poundland in the UK, I believe, there's, oh geez, Action, I think, here in Germany, Daiso, yeah, never ever throw away anything. You can always reuse tools. And then, yeah, always looking at moving sales, thrift stores, all that kind of stuff. You will be amazed at what things people throw away or are giving away for super cheap.
I also highly recommend looking into makerspaces that are near you. Libraries, universities, they're often free. And sometimes there's also nonprofit organizations that have free makerspaces as well. So, yeah.
Oh, and one thing with that, also, I don't know how many places do this, but when I lived in Arizona, we had a monthly fix everything. I'm forgetting what it's called now, but like a fix everything day where there would be experts in X thing. Like I would do that for sewing, where they would teach people who come in how to repair their items. So it's a really easy and free way to learn how to use a sewing machine, learn how to use a particular tool, that kind of thing.
All right. Okay. So, yes. So this is one of my favorite things, and it's about reusing household items. You might be surprised at what you can use. In fact, one time I actually tried hot gluing an old broken vibrator as a handle for my interchangeable chainsaw because it was solid yet had a nice grip. If it worked, it would have been one erect handle. And so along those lines, when you're looking at household objects, you want it to see if it roughly matches what you need to make. And if not, you can consider how well structured the object is. Maybe you can still use it and you just need to make it more durable, or maybe it doesn't look like what you need, but it's super durable and you can use it to support something else. If the household object is not already perfectly shaped, there are several ways to cut them down. Thin plastics, thin wood like popsicle sticks, and most paper products can be cut with chest scissors. A box cutter or X-Acto knife will work for slightly thicker items, and a hacksaw will work for slightly thicker wood. If the cut edge is going to be free and not covered up, I recommend filing it smooth. And here's some tips when it comes to coloring household objects. If you're working with something paper, wood, cardboard, most paints will go on it fine without a base, but Mod Podge or a primer base coat may help smooth it out and adhere better. Spraying a top coat or sealant will also help protect the paint. And weathering it with highlights and shadows will also make it appear 3D and real. If you're working with something plastic, first, a very important safety warning. When heating up or filing plastic, it releases toxins. So if there's one thing you should invest in, it's a respirator, such as the 3M brand with cartridges for fumes. If it's a thicker plastic that scissors or box cutters aren't strong enough to cut through, wear that respirator and you can tape it for security, heat it with a hair blow dryer, and that will soften it enough to cut. Next, filing or buffing the plastic surface beforehand will prep it for paint, and definitely do it in a well-ventilated area with the respirator. And watercolors, some acrylic paints, and some markers might just pool together when on plastic and never painted. Test it out, and if it doesn't work, try something else. Sharpie and spray paint has always worked on every plastic item that I've used. So these are some of my examples. So I have a steampunk mask that I made out of Sharpie paint and medicine bottles and medicine bottle caps and other caps. The Ursula shell necklace I have there is made out of takeout food containers and a vitamin bottle lid. And I also have some superpower bending poi props, the kind that Avatar The Last Airbender cosplayers use, and I made that out of rock climbing supplies as well as dental floss, the kind for your teeth. And my trident for Chrome Dokuro was made with chopsticks and paper towel rolls and a mop handle. And this next section is about cardboard. There's many places to find free cardboard. And an unexpected place is that you can sometimes go to USPS and commercial businesses and just ask them for their recycled bigger boxes for free. And there's also Buy Nothing or other giveaway freebie groups on Facebook, and people will often be giving away their moving boxes. There are several tutorials that I was going to mention, but I do have them linked at the end of this panel, and we can always share more in our extra credit thread later. And but I guess just to move forward for now, cardboard can sometimes be known as being weak, but there's several ways to make cardboard more sturdy. You can glue multiple layers of cardboard together with the wavy corrugated inside things facing opposite directions. You can insert wooden dowels, wires, chopsticks, popsicle sticks, and you can also use a right triangle of cardboard pieces to further reinforce corners. And using hot glue will actually make it sturdy too, and same with adding some tape outside to keep the layers together. And how can you make cardboard look better? Sometimes you'll be lucky that the shape will already be perfect. Okay, cool. But for other times, to make curves from a flat piece of cardboard, you can score along them, like how I have shown in the armor, and that will be able to turn it, or even make seams like the ones in EVA foam patterns. So for some quick examples, I have a cardboard sword made out of toilet paper rolls and food boxes. Both a friend of mine and I have made gauntlets and scale armor also out of food cardboard boxes. And the trident I have, also made out of cardboard. And a tip about making disassemblable cardboard props is that I used a paper towel roll glued onto the top of a mop handle. I punched a hole through both the bottom of the trident and the mop handle, and then I use a chopstick as a method to secure the trident fork. So yeah. All right. And hopefully that plays. Yeah. All right. So as I mentioned, well, I kind of skipped in the beginning, but this was a chainsaw, an interchangeable chainsaw made out of cardboard that won a judge's award. And this was mostly made out of, this was all made out of cardboard and trash fully for free. And I do plan on making a tutorial on this eventually, but for now, the base of the chainsaw is a shipping box that I've inserted small blocks of wood as a counterweight. I cut holes in the sides to be able to disassemble the blade and handle. I wrapped the entire thing with packaging tape so I can do that tape and remove method in the video. Just give me just a bit. The handle is made of multiple layers of cardboard, and I used the right triangles for security. Yeah, so for this one, how it works is that each character has different accessories attached to each side of it, so that I could just change it like that. I can go into more detail about this later if anyone wants to hear more about it.
Yeah, so hi. Yeah, I'm here somehow. But let's talk about junk. I love junk. I really love to dig through my recycle bin. I'm probably that weirdo who will dig through a bunch of random junk to find stuff, and I like to build stuff out of it. Basically, the way that you can look at it is if it looks like an object that you can use, you can actually use it. This example here, I made a full ODM gear system for my sister, who really is a huge Attack on Titan fan. And I started out a lot of things, like with the cardboard. I started with foam core board and paper towel tubes. Always have paper towels, right? But then you had to kind of get creative with some of the other shapes, such as the sword. I went and found secondhand bicycle brake handles on eBay. I don't even think the two handles matched, but I slapped a coat of silver paint on it and unscrewed a couple of mechanisms to make it a little more con safe, and bam, I have the handles and I don't watch Attack on Titans, the squeezy things that they use somehow to hit I don't know. But my sister had fun squeezing the handle the entire time because it actually still does work. For the back piece, I also managed to down two 2-liter soda bottles. I am not a soda drinker at all. And cut the entire top off. The outside rim is made out of foamies and some foam core board. And the centerpiece, I had no idea what it was. I could not find any shape, and I'm standing there with the top of a jar of peanuts in my hand, preparing to recycle it. And I was like, this is exactly the shape. It's got the ridges and everything. And so I went and scuffed it up with some sandpaper, slapped a nice coat of paint on it, and glued it to the back of the ODM gear. And it looked legitimately like the piece in the reference pictures. I also added things like aquarium tubing. They make it in both clear and black, and it's large enough to show up in photos, but light enough that it's not going to weigh any of this down. I think the gear weighs less than 5 pounds for all of it, and probably half of that is in the bicycle handles. All right, next, please. All right, so let's talk about binding. Now, if you have tits, this can be a problem if you're trying to portray a male presenting character. I am a plus-size cosplayer, so unfortunately I have a lot of them. And you can try to squish them down as much as you want, but they're gotta go somewhere. They're not gonna just disappear. And you don't need a huge budget for all of a lot of fancy things. You can actually budget. You need maybe like 1 or 2 of these and just make sure to keep them clean. You want to be very careful when you get to binding. Like we said with the PPE gear, you want to do safety first. Chest tissue is very sensitive. You do not want to damage it. That is permanent. And if you bind improperly, you can actually damage your spine. I have dislocated 2 different ribs in different directions at the same time from improper binding. I do not recommend it. That is very painful. So we're going to talk about some safe tips of how you can do this and make it look like your chest might be a little flatter than it actually is. For me, you can see me in the bottom left-hand corner. I use a high-impact sports bra. Because specifically high impact, because the whole purpose of this is they keep the titties in place, right? And so they're going to compress you, but safely. I actually wear the high impact bras over 12 hours at a con and don't even feel it. So these are completely safe to wear. And to hide the rest of it, you want to do very careful, like, tailoring. Like, my shirt is just slightly large, so you can't see any shape of my chest in that outfit. You can also hide it underneath vests or jacket lapels or layering. I am a big Danmei cosplayer, so hiding it under layers of hanfu actually is a really good way to disguise everything, because hanfu are typically pretty loose. And Resa has some other suggestions for you.
And yes, these are some of the other methods of binding. You can use the commercial binders such as Underworks and GC2B. You can pad out your stomach area with like random shirts, pants, blankets, towels in your stomach area to make your chest appear flat. There's also trans tape that you can use for open chest binding. Just be careful when you take it off. One time I accidentally peeled off some skin when I removed it improperly. The better methods to remove are baby oil, mineral oil, lotions, doing it in the shower, etc. And today there's also commercially available muscle suits. If you're a queer person, there are Free Pile, Buy Nothing, and other support groups where you can get commercial binders for free or cheap. Shapeshifter is a small career-owned business that also has make-your-own binder kits. And I also did once find an Underworks binder in a thrift store for super cheap. I think it was called like Nude Tank Top or something like that. So.
All right. I'm 5, so this is funny to me, and I've been waiting to say this all week. In conclusion, let's talk about some of the things that you guys talked about, and I apparently missed out because I was touching grass and listening to birds. So essentially, what are you doing with this sort of budget cosplay? Are you striving for perfection? Well, let me tell you, I have been a competition cosplayer since 2005. There is no such thing as absolute perfection. You will drive yourself absolutely insane. So you want to go towards the mood, the feel, the vibes. You want to feel the character. You go kind of close enough, my Captain Falcon I did at YowieCon years ago, I kind of went more for the mood, using things like baseball clothes, quilting myself a set of muscles, gardening gloves, water socks. Do not recommend walking around in a con in water socks, but they work great. And for the top of his helmet, I actually found a pool ball in an arcade parking lot. You know, those ball pit balls? And I cut it in half and glued it to the side of the helmet. It looked exactly right. It's just random stuff going for that vibe, right? And for my kakyoing, I see the gifts. I'm right there with you. And I went for the vibe for him. I do have a full kakyoing outfit, but that gets hot. So I found a cherry print shirt, and because he likes cherries, and went for the vibe. And it'd be pretty recognizable wearing a cherry print shirt with his hair that this is absolutely kakyoing. And Resa has a couple other things for you too.
And yeah, part of what inspired this panel was that I also don't have a tight budget, so I can't afford to compare against quote-unquote high-quality expensive fabrics when I'm mostly using stash fabrics or repurposing my own clothes. I'm probably not the only one who can't afford a lot of space and expensive toxic equipment and supplies that can create the amazingly intricate prop work that you see. And that's why I specialize in cardboard and household trash for this reason. And we hope to share this so that if you're also a broke bitch, you can do this too.
Yeah, we're both broke bitches.
Yep. Yeah.
I may compete, but I compete out with things from thrift stores with like bed sheets and curtains. And cardboard.
Yep. Yeah. All right. And we do have further reading and information here, and the slideshow with additional information can also be downloaded with this QR code. So